Welcome to Seduce Me. This is a Steam game by Miss Michaela Laws. Um, yeah, that's all I got. But this is a fictional interactive narrative. All characters resemblance to real life people are purely coincidental. Also, please note that the following game is made for PG-16 audiences. Please note that the sexual violence themes are explored in this game. Trigger warning: abuse, implied rape, and suicide you have been warned. YouTube, you have been warned. Please enjoy. I will.
Why, hello. My, aren't you a gorgeous sight? Can I be honored enough to know your name?
My name is Yang.
A lovely name.
I got an
For
achievement.
a lovely person like you. Wonderful.
Eric, do your job.
Who's Eric?
Very well. This game was produced by Seraphim Entertainment under the direction of Michaela Laws and is powered by Ren'Py Visual Novel Engine. We truly hope you'll enjoy this story. I know I'll enjoy it since you'll be in it.
Aww.
Eric.
Fine, fine. Farewell, my sweet.
I like Eric already.
Come on! Is that all you got?
Wanna try me, asshole? Crap! Missed.
Let's retreat for now.
No kidding. Let's get out of here.
That's right. You better run, you stupid punks! Stay out of our territory!
Call it fate or call it coincidence, that one moment of violence started a chain of events I will never forget.
This formula, created in the 70s, is one of the most important in the field of financial theory.
Miss Phillips.
It is used to calculate the price of European-style options and is widely used by option marketers, though there are some discrepancies that are now corrected with the modern viewpoint.
Rain. It's been a long time since we've gotten rain around here, but it is the season of rainy weather, so it's not exactly that surprising. Personally, I love the sound of it. The way the raindrops fell, like the soft tapping of fingers, it was soothing. Even looking at the droplets hit the glass of the window, strangely calming. For this reason, I felt lucky to have a seat next to the window. Though I did spend more time staring outside than I did paying attention in class. Literally me. That's why I don't sit next to the window. Oh my god, really? The whole time. Go back. There are back. There's no back. Oh well. The lectures in class were pretty boring. Miss Phillips' voice wasn't so perfect. But it wasn't interesting in what she was saying. And since it was a period right before lunch, all I could think about was doing other things in my free time. Honestly, I didn't really care much for economics. Sure, I had good grades in the class, but it was only because I read textbooks and did my assignments as I had to. I was only taking this class because it was mandatory. If it were up to me, I would probably have taken another course. Luckily, it was my senior year, so after this semester, it would be the end of high school of courses forever. Thank God for that. I'm in her position. I didn't hate high school. I was just kind of mundane how the days drifted on and on. There was no end to it. The only thing I could really enjoy about going to school was meeting my friends and hanging out with them. But that was kind of it. In short, I was done with high school. I start the second semester. I brought a note of finality to it. I had already applied to many universities this semester prior, and I was expecting replies sometime in the next few months. It seemed like the start of something new, something that would change. That is, if things could change. I stared at the faint outline of the raindrops on the distance. For now, I was stuck in this class.
Miss Anderson.
What do you want? Miss Phillips' raised voice interrupted my train of thought. just when I was thinking I was done reading for the day, just to think that love and whatever it's called, love and romance if love and romance didn't crash on me, not crash. If love and romance gameplay actually recorded, I wouldn't have been doing so much reading, but I know this will record. Just when I was thinking about the class, I quickly turned my head to face the teacher. Hopefully she didn't pick me just because she noticed I was spacing out. Yes, ma'am. Ah, it's me. I'm Yang. That looks nothing like Yang, but still.
Would you care to name the equation I set up on the blackboard?
Oh, I think I read about it in my textbooks last night. It should be the Black Skull's model formula.
Very good as always, Miss Anderson.
Anderson followed me wherever I went. Most people didn't really know me by my first name, but rather my surname. No doubt, since the surname was trademark of the internationally famous and philanthropic Anderson family toys, it became and because the founder was my own grandfather. Suzu, one of my best friends, turned around and proudly gave me a punch in the shoulder.
Kick ass, girl.
Yeah. From beside me, I heard Naomi, another one of my best friends, clearing her throat in obvious disapproval of Suzu's choice of words.
She means good job.
Miss Capini,
Oi!
Oi!
care to tell me who the creators of this formula were?
Some guys named Black and Shoals.
Yeah.
Fisher Black and Myron Shoals.
Very good, Miss Patterson.
Show off. Better study next time, Suzu. Be like us and study once in a while.
No, this. You can't hear that. Yes, you can. Suzu rolled her eyes and slouched in her chair, and Naomi gave her a small smirk. She always pouted when Naomi showed her up.
That's the end of today's lecture. Now, let's separate into groups and work on your projects. Remember, everything is due on Monday. Go ahead now.
Before I knew it, Suzu and Naomi had scooted their desks to align with mine, and we turned to the Three Musketeers. Whenever the teacher let the students decide on groups, we always grouped together. It's our little trio. Whenever it was a sheer stroke of luck, we managed to be all in the same class, so we had at least to take the opportunity to stick together as much as we could. Besides, we were mostly comfortable around each other than, say, compared to being around any other classmate. It just made sense for us to put our heads together in any kind of project. I took out the poster we were working on and rolled it open onto the 3 discs. It was pretty much finished with the fulfillment of most guidelines in the project, though we did still have a few finishing touches here and there. After working on making the poster a bit prettier, we sat back and inspected our work to see what we still had to do. Naomi, as usual, first looked for any issue. She slightly tapped on the pencil against her chin, staring intently at the project.
Alright, so let's see. We finished the budgeting section, the building leasing, and the cost for labor. What else do we need?
Suzu straightened up and looked at the poster and stroked her chin. After a few seconds, her face brightened and she spoke up.
How about a company name? Huh? Did we really skip over that? Of course we did. You always go straight into the logical statistics and stuff, but you completely skip over the fact. We need a name for our project. At least we caught it this time. What do we name it? Not sure. What do you think?
It always comes down to me. Whenever there's something to be named or titled, I was the master of any decision, even when I didn't want to be.
I like Trinity Corporations. That is way too predictable. How about the Dragon Company? What do dragons have to do with our project? What? It's a totally unpredictable name. It's hot.
Okay. I'm recording.
But our company sells bubblegum. Who said we can't produce spicy bubblegum?
Nobody.
What do you think?
Yang.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yang. Both of them looked at me expectantly, even though I wasn't quite sure myself. I don't really want to choose sides, but if it was up to me, I would say I like. I can't. I don't. Fuck it.
Alright, now that we've decided on a name, now what?
I skipped over something and I can't go back. As we ended our name game, a giggle scrambled my thoughts. Huh? Who was that?
Ignore it. It's just Lisette.
Lisette. I looked over my shoulder to see her laughing with her circle of friends, mostly comprised of popular people that were practically friends with everyone in the school. As a result, everyone in the school knew them. In that center of it, it was all less Lisette White. She was sat with a poster that indicated she was still working. She sat with a posture that indicated she was still working, but that she also was ready to casually chat about her day. She had an enduring balance of charismatic and awkward, which was readily appeared when she first talked to someone. She was easy to make her smile and laugh, and she was quite the comedian as well. Oh, okay. This button to go back. Basically, she was perfect. Not that she was like a robot or something, but she was the student that everyone else wanted to be. Lisette was bright, easygoing, and above all, her future laid out right in front of her. Unlike the average student, she knew what she wanted to do after high school. As a result, she was confident and ambitious, though sometimes after high school, and as a result, she was confident and ambitious, though sometimes it could rub a lot of people the wrong way. Moreover, I know her ever since I was young, but I had. People can't shut up. Moreover, I've known her ever since I was young, but I had ultimately result in a rivalry that continued today. Of course, my friends knew what was between us, and upon seeing me glance at her, they shifted their attention to her.
She doesn't even look like she's working, in my opinion.
She probably is, but she's too much of a stuck-up priss to allow herself to look like she's actually doing work.
Oh, come on, Suzu. She may be a little off-putting, but she's not the giant priss that you're making her seem to be.
The day she isn't a priss is the day I turn into you.
What's that supposed to mean?
I'm laughing.
Never mind. It's about time. Let's bail.
Yeah, bye. She just ran across the room. She's like, bye, fool. Unsurprisingly, Suzu was the first out of the classroom, slinging her backpack over her shoulder with ease as she quickly strolled out the door.
Her seat isn't even closest to the exit, and she always manages to be the first one out of the door. I don't think I'll ever understand that.
You could put her across the room and she'd be like, boosh! Gotta go fast, Sonic! She gave me a smile as if I relieved the fact that I felt the same way as she did.
See? Why can't she just be normal like the two of us?
I don't know. It's Suzu, Naomi. Think about it.
Very true.
Man, you guys are slow. Are you coming or what?
We heard you the first time. Not everyone has rocket boosters attached to their legs when the bell rings.
Are you kidding me? That class was ridiculously boring. Even Miss Valedictorian here was dozing off a bit.
I do have to admit I was spacing out, and just because I answered one question doesn't mean I'm automatically the valedictorian.
Okay, so it wasn't too interesting. But you should at least pay attention when Phillips is talking about the important parts.
Nah.
So you finally admit it. we're finally on the same wavelength. Welcome to the club, Patterson.
Please, don't call me by my last name. This isn't the classroom. And never in a million years will we ever see things eye to eye.
How are they friends then? I think I'm just keeping them together. Despite this, they both burst into laughter. Normally, anyone would think the opposite like them weren't even associated with each other, but even though they were so different, their friendship somehow made a lot of sense. Maybe they were just perfect. Maybe it was just perfect compliments, or personalities just didn't dictate the possibilities of a friendship. After all, we three had to be best friends since preschool.
All right, so where are we heading to first? Cafeteria? I think we can all agree that we're really hungry, especially after hearing about our company's line of deliciously spicy bubblegum.
Who would even buy that? I wonder.
Me? I would pay good money to get a taste of it.
You do like spicy foods after all. We entered the cafeteria and a bustling room filled with aromas, different kinds of food. As we got in line, we ordered our meals and chatted freely.
Cajun fries and the spicy chicken burger for me. That's my definition of a good meal.
I'll take a tuna sandwich and some juice. You're probably going to need water or something to curb all that spicy flavor, Suzu.
I can't be tamed by the likes of that. If it's spicy, then it's gotta be all or nothing.
You're crazy!
Hell yeah, I'm crazy.
I think I'm getting a migraine.
Then go away. I think I'll go with... I'm just gonna go with mac and cheese and soda. Once we got our food, we settled down at one of the empty tables, putting our backpacks aside and finally dig into our food. Why did there at my school at least, there's too many kids. So we have, it's either there's barely any room in the cafeteria, because if you sit at one of the people's cafeteria tables that they've claimed, then they will immediately just be really effing rude to you. And they will be so rude to you. So never sit at the cafeteria tables that people have claimed. So I usually end up sitting on the floor with the rest of my friends. Suzu leaning back on her chair, tilting it back so she could rest her feet at a table by her food.
All right then. Is there anything we want to talk about?
Bored already?
I know. Let's talk about...
Say boys, and I will never speak to you ever again.
Aw, why not?
What's so interesting about talking about guys? It's not like any of us are gonna get boyfriends anytime soon.
Yeah, all three of them could be gay.
We don't know that. What if one of us does get a boyfriend?
Like that's going to happen, Naomi. Look at us. I'm a tiny Italian. You're a ditzy blonde.
Hey!
No offense. And Anderson here. Well, I guess she could land a boyfriend or girlfriend if she wants.
Yes!
Or girlfriend?
She can be a lesbian if she wants.
Thank you, Michaela.
True.
It's okay, Suzu. I'm not sure I want a boyfriend yet.
Why not? It's our senior year. Might as well get a boyfriend.
Maybe she's just not interested in a relationship, Suzu.
It wasn't about wanting a relationship, but more of there was no one interested enough to be in a relationship with. Don't get me wrong, I'm an open person, but there's not many interesting guys in our school to go out with. Who knows? Time will tell. Naomi looked at me, wanting to continue the conversation. However, before she could speak, the speakers in the cafe started up, and the announcements echoed through the cafeterias.
Miss Anderson, please come to the main office immediately. Please bring your things with you.
Ooh.
Oh my.
Looks like our plans have been cut short. The men in white coats have finally come to get you.
Oh, great.
Suzu, don't joke around. What if it's serious?
Yeah, then the men in the white coats will come get me and it'll be fine.
Ah, fine. If something happens, just call us.
Funny enough, something did happen. And I was certain it was certainly no laughing matter. Cold. It was really cold. The rain became heavier that afternoon, accompanied by rolling thunder, and now and then the skies had turned black, though I couldn't see any of it under the black umbrella. Not that I was looking up, in fact, looking up I was exactly opposite of what I wanted to do. I stared at the grass beneath my feet, unable to look up at the people weeping around me. All I could see was the dim grass underneath my feet. Ooh, someone died. Only the monotone eludes of the floating through my ears reminded me that I was at a funeral. I knew it. It was only when the speeches ended that I firmly was able to raise my head. Finally was able to raise my head. A small gathering of people, mostly made of relatives that I didn't even know were related to me, huddled around the simple small grave. For a while, all I heard was the sound of raindrops on umbrellas. If it weren't raining every day, it'd probably be heavy silence. I looked beside me, with my father was standing and holding up a large black umbrella for our small family of 3. His face was emotionless and strange. Sight next to my weeping mother, I could wonder what was going through his mind. After all, etched in the smooth gravestone was before us was his father's name. My grandfather, the one who raised me like his own daughter, had passed away that day. The ceremony was small, only close family members were allowed to come. Slowly, though, the people began to leave, my father and mother and me behind at the grave. The man dressed in clean black suit under the uniform black umbrella as the funeral attendees walked toward us, introducing himself as his grandfather's lawyer. He pulled out a few documents in his suitcase and began to read aloud its contents.
And now, I shall read Harold Anderson's last will and testament.
Only my parents and I were allowed to be present for my grandfather's will. It was under this strict request of his lawyer, and there was a reason why.
And to my dearest granddaughter, I give my estate. All the furniture and decor that resides within the house shall also be given to my granddaughter.
I get a house. What? I couldn't believe my ears. I had earned the family estate at 18. That was impossible. And yet it was written by my own grandfather's hand.
He passed the family estate to her? Why am I not surprised?
My dad's kind of assholes for saying that.
Dear.
Well, did he say anything about what will become of the CEO and chairman position of the Anderson Toys Company?
No. It is presumed that the vice chairman will succeed the position.
Even to the bitter end, he wouldn't give in. Oh, what a stubborn old man.
Shaking his head, my father turned to face my mother with serious expression on his face.
About the estate. Should we send her there to get used to the building? It'll be a good place for her to live after high school.
Are you sure we should?
Why not? This would be a good experience for her.
He's so mad.
Honey, what do you think?
I really wasn't sure what to say. Why did my grandfather think that I was the appropriate heir to the mansion? Was I even ready to live on my own?
Well, that seems to be it. We'll be taking our leave now. I'm sure the little heiress needs some time to adjust.
David!
Even though she raised her voice, my dad wordlessly began to walk back to the car, disinterested.
Don't mind him, honey. I think that your grandfather's passing really affected him. Why don't we get back home for now?
Could you go? You can go on ahead to the car, Mom. I need some time to think alone with Grandpa.
Oh, of course. Take all the time you need.
She gave me a quick hug and hurried after my dad. I looked around at the funeral grounds, which was completely empty, saving me the sullen look of the grave that was laid in front of me. I'm sure that if Grandpa were in charge of the arrangement for all this, he would have been much different. It was blatantly obvious that my dad was in charge of the whole event. Who else would bury him with their own family the same day they pass away? Everyone knew my grandfather's love for toys, and yet the grave was mere stone slab on the ground, void of any children's toys. My dad didn't even bother putting flowers. He disdained my grandfather. The disdain for my grandfather was almost pitiful. I'm sorry, Grandpa. I tried to force out some words, but the only thing that came out was a choked sob. You told me to stay strong, but right now, I'm the farthest from it. That one time a long time ago. Grandpa!
Oh, it's so good to see you again, sweetie.
I was swept into a giant bear hug, and we both landed, and he swung me around like an airplane. It was my favorite things to sing about my grandfather. He was greeting me. Unlike my father, my grandfather was loving and playful even as I grew older. Sorry that Daddy couldn't make it here today. He said he wasn't feeling too good again. It always been like that. Dad missed every visit to Grandpa's house, saying that he was always busy with work or he wasn't feeling well.
Is that so? Well, that's okay. Daddy can come around next time. And you're here, right?
No, I'm just a hologram. Yeah. What are we doing today, Grandpa? Mommy says that there's a new dessert cafe open in town. Can we go?
Oh, I would love to. But I've been so busy with the company these days. We're actually working on a little something. Would you like to see?
Yes. Oh, is that a toy?
It is. I was designing a new line of them. But I feel like something's missing. You don't think you could help me out, could you?
Of course. He placed the toy in my hand with a smile. I inspected it carefully. It was beautifully crafted and obviously a lot of work was put into it. There was one thing though.
So, what do you think?
I think the heart on its chest should light up when you hug it. It'll be like it's alive, and it can be like a little nightlight before you sleep. He shook his chin, considering my input with nodding his head. After a few moments of silent deliberating, he turned to me with a chuckle.
That's a great idea. I'll get to changing it right away. You're always like my little lucky charm, dear. You always know what to add to make the perfect toy.
Aha. Hope I can be like you one day, Grandpa.
You want to make toys as well?
Well, making people happy is the best thing in the world. I don't know if I want to make toys when I grow up, though.
Don't worry too much about it. You have plenty of time to decide. Besides, you should do what makes you happy as well.
That makes sense. Daddy doesn't think the same way, though.
Your father. I'm sure he just wants the best for you.
I'm not so sure about that.
Sweetie, look at me.
He bent down and looked at me at eye level, serious look on his face.
As much as your father may say something that doesn't make sense now, you must remember that he's always thinking about you. He loves you. There's no doubt about that. And you need to love him just as equally.
I don't hate Daddy. I really do love him. I don't know why he's like this, though.
Your father and I have had some difficulties with each other in the past. But it's nothing that you should be concerned about.
I had heard tidbits from this from my mother and various other people. Only people who have stayed the only people who had stayed quiet with my father and grandfather, both of them refrained from saying a word about the subject matter, but it was clear that whatever happened still set up a wall between them. It's hard, though, trying to pretend as if nothing went wrong.
However, no matter what, you have to stay strong. You're a big girl already, and, well, there'll come a day when it seems like it's you against the world. But always remember that your family and friends will be here with you. Daddy, Mommy, your friends at school, me. We'll stand together to get through it.
How can you be so sure of that?
Because we'll be right here and here.
He pointed his finger at my head and my first, and then he pointed at my chest.
So stay strong. Promise?
For a moment, he looked almost sad, fleeting, but as quickly as it had came, the expression disappeared from his face. He was smiling once again. Promise. Upon hearing that, Grandpa let out a great burst of laughter and stood up.
All right then. Enough of that. How about I whip up some special homemade dessert? I know I can't accompany you at that new cafe, but we sure can talk and eat while I cook and do some paperwork.
Homemade desserts? I'll race you to the kitchen.
Hey, slow down there. I'm not what I used to be.
You willingly gave the very home I love to see you in. Why? Why would you think that I would be ready to take that, especially after this? A surge of anger bubbled within me, but I quickly swallowed it. There was no use in getting mad, especially when the person in question was no longer there. I'm sorry I had to stay calm. Sorry, it's hard to stay calm when you left me with so many questions, especially about what happened between you and Dad. What am I doing? Talking to a grave. My vision blurred and I suddenly realized that I was crying. My face heated up and tears rolled down my cheeks. I'll bring you some flowers later. I miss you, Grandpa. I'll try to be the best to I'll try to my best to fulfill my promise I gave you, even if the world might be turning against me. I left the grave, wiping my tears hastily so my parents wouldn't say. I connect with her on a different level.
Well, it's time to head back home. I'll cook up your favorite lasagna when we get home, okay?
Thanks, Mom. However, my dad didn't speak the entire drive home. I wanted to talk to him, but after his moment at the funeral, wasn't sure it was a good idea.
It's about time we took off those dreary black clothes.
Gathering my courage, I decided to take this time. Decided then that it was time to talk. Dad, can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
Why did you want me to move to the estate so soon?
I thought I made that rather clear. The college near your grandfather's house is well known for its business program. You are planning to major in business, yes? ... Right after you graduate from high school, you'll just live there and can easily commute to and from school. It's a perfect fit for you.
Damn it. The controlling father is here. But so sudden? It's so sudden. You just decided so quickly right after the funeral.
Don't be so sensitive. If you're like that in the real world, you'll be crushed.
I think that Grandpa accidentally killed this guy's fish. That's why he's so salty. I'm just saying that maybe we could talk a bit more about my future. In reply, my father rubbed his temples and sighed quietly.
After you graduate from college, you'll work at Anderson Family Toys. I have connections since I am part of the board of directors, so you will be guaranteed a spot. That is what we talked about before, yes?
But what if...
Stop mumbling!
But what if I don't want to work there?
Don't be silly. It's the family company. Our company. I'm not just going to hand it over to some incompetent vice chairman.
He came closer to me and his face softened.
Look, this is all for the best, okay? You may not know it right now, but you will appreciate it later.
For some reason, when I heard him say that, something snapped in me. I wasn't exactly sure what it was, but it made me feel so angry. Do you even care that grandfather passed away?
Of course I do.
Okay. Well, everything seems fine and dandy to you. Things couldn't be better.
Excuse me? I don't like your tone, young lady.
It's like nothing ever happened at all. Like you just ignored the fact that he's no longer here.
Do not raise your voice at me.
What did he ever do to you to deserve this? Hit my father. His face hardened, crossed his arms and erupted in an angry laughter.
Ha! You sure place him upon a pedestal, like he's some kind of venerated god or something. It makes me sick.
What the hell happened? Is that it? Are you happy seeing grandfather dead? While everyone else was grieving, you were holding yourself back from laughing in everyone's face. Did you even feel a bit happier seeing him lie in the graveyard? Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't... A flash of rage crossed his face as he whipped the back of his hand across my cheek.
You don't know anything! Running your mouth like somehow you know everything that went on, when you're just a little girl that doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut! You did not know my father! You did not know what he was capable of.
Is everything all right? What happened?
This bitch just hit me! Nothing. I'm not hungry. I think I'll just go upstairs.
Honey, wait!
I quickly turned and ran up the stairs to my room, slamming the door behind me. My breath came to short pants for a while. I just leaned against the door to my bedroom, everything eventually sliding down and sitting against it. How did things become like this? My cheek still throbbing, and attentively stood up and looked in the mirror to see how it looked. Hopefully this doesn't bruise. What am I saying? Tears formed in the corners of my eyes, but I blinked them back rapidly. I couldn't cry for the second time today. I had to be stronger than that.
Are you all right? Your father told me nothing happened, but you know your father.
I'm fine. I just lost my appetite.
The lasagna's done, though. And I don't want you skipping any meals. Are you sure?
I would just take the food and be like, yes. Dad hit me. Yeah, don't worry about me, Mom. I'll come downstairs later to eat.
You're not telling me the whole story.
I just don't want to eat right now.
Please, dear. Tell me what's going on. I wish you would tell me why you're being like this.
Because I have a choker around my neck, and that's that. I wanted to tell her. Part of me was screaming to tell her what Dad had done. At the same time, I knew she couldn't fix anything besides I was moving out regardless. I remained silent, letting the event remain in the past.
Well, I'll leave your food on the table if you want to eat it later.
Finally, Mom left me alone. It was strange to think that she was only a few inches away from me, only separated by a single wooden door. I really didn't know what to do. I needed to do something, anything, to get my mind off of what just happened. Anything would be better than thinking any more about the pain still radiating in my cheek. I wasn't going to move into my grandfather's house tomorrow. I should probably pack my stuff so I wouldn't. I was going to move into my grandfather's house tomorrow. I should probably pack my stuff so I would be prepared for tomorrow. Yeah, that was a good idea. I should start packing. I opened the closet, rummaged around for a while before finally finding 2 large bags, pulling them out onto the floor of my room, and beginning to empty my drawers and cabinets so that I could bring all my things with me. I didn't have much to bring other than just clothes and some toiletries. It was kind of bizarre that I didn't have many personal belongings. Look at all the crap on your shelves! It wasn't like my luggage was completely devoted to them, but certainly didn't have many things in my room that I would miss if I just suddenly left the house. I shook my head and rid myself of the thoughts. If I was going to be my new home, I would like to feel like it, or one way or another, I was going to make it a home. Just as I was packing my things, my cell phone began to ring and vibrate in my pocket. I slid my phone out of my pocket and answered it while slowly easing myself onto the bed. Who could possibly be calling? Your friends!
Hey, Anderson, you there?
I knew it!
Is everything alright? We were worried about you, so we decided to call.
I want friends like that. I kinda do.
Hello?
I'm really glad you guys called. My voice managed to come out, though it was only a whisper.
What happened? Are you okay?
Well, slowly began to tell him about the funeral. After that afternoon, a small silence followed when I was done recounting what happened, and then my relief, and then we finally spoke up.
I can't begin to imagine how you must be feeling right now. I'm so sorry. Do you want us to come over right now?
No, it's okay. My dad isn't in a good mood, so could we just keep talking on the phone like this?
Of course! We'd stay on the phone until the crack of dawn, right, Suzu? Yeah. We're always here if you need us. After all, we wouldn't be the awesome triple threat trio without you, right?
Triple threat trio. I like that. Yeah.
Triple threat trio? That sounds like the name of a gang. Yeah, I mean, we're all taking on the world together. We've got to sound somewhat scary, or else no one's going to take us seriously.
They have an iPhone in this one now. It's not even like the updated iPhone, it's the old one. I mean, I guess this game came out like 2014 or something. I don't really know.
What's with you and naming things? You've got to step up your game, Naomi. Falling behind the cool kids like Anderson and me. Tisk tisk. Hey! I'm a cool kid. If anything, I'd say you'd have to step up your game.
We chatted cheerfully about all sort of things. Very soon I had forgotten about the events that day. The day was engaging in conversation about Naomi's favorite TV show, some program called Herlock. Is that a playoff of Sherlock? We all agreed that the actor played the titular character certainly had a very distinctive look about him, though with the long overcoat and the scarf wrapped around his neck. We had many disagreements about who we thought was the coolest character. Yeah, he has really high cheekbones and his eyes are pretty, though I'd have to say I preferred Jatson. And his bonus, his actor is just so sassy. Watson. Jatson. Looked at the clock hanging on the wall, realized how late it was. Why don't you just look at your phone? Whoa! It's already 1 a.m. Sorry for keeping you guys up so late. I think I'm gonna hit the hay for tonight. I think I'm gonna hit the hay for tonight. See you guys at school tomorrow. I should probably shower and go to bed. I can't believe I stayed up this late just talking to my friends. I did that once. But it was really nice. Well, to the bathroom I go. Took a relaxing shower. Nothing beats a hot shower. The feeling of being clean after drying myself, I promptly dressed in my pajamas and crawled into bed. A nice shower after a long day. I'm so glad to finally be in bed. It has been a really long day. I know that I wasn't wishing for something to change back in class, but I certainly wasn't expecting any of these things to happen either. And I have to go back to school tomorrow. Ugh. So I curled up on the side and tightly wrapped my blankets around me. I really wasn't in the mood for returning to school, but my dad probably would make me go just for the sake of it. It's time to go to sleep. I reached out for the lamp on my nightstand and turned off the lights. However, my mind was so lost in the passing of my grandfather that the thought of inheriting something so big that it haunted my mind the entire night until the next morning. It's already morning. I shook my head and tried to clear the sleepiness out of me to no avail. I really didn't get any sleep last night. It's already time to wake up. Wait, school! As soon as I realized I had to go to school, I slid out of bed and looked at the vanity mirror. That's a relief. Luckily, there was barely a bruise on my cheek. You had to squint to actually see it. I doubt anyone would actually notice unless they leaned really close. Breathing out a sigh, I got dressed and took my backpack and caught the bus to go to school. It wasn't even hours before everyone heard the news. I was approached in school and given condolences for my loss. However, that wasn't what shocked my friends.
Wait, so you have the whole Anderson house to yourself? Lucky as hell, man! Quit being so sensitive, Naomi.
Quit being so vulgar, Suzu.
Oh, the contrast between them. It's the contrast between these two really adds to the story.
Of course you would side with her.
Ha! See? At least she knows how to have fun.
I know how to have fun. You don't need to be wild to have fun.
Guys, I'm going there after school today because my parents want me to get used to living there.
Seriously? It hasn't even been a day since you came back to school.
I know, but my parents want me to try living there as soon as possible.
Still, that's really fast. Are you going to be okay?
Of course. But even in the comfort of my best friends, life seemed to keep testing me. Big smiles all around. Oof.
Hey! Don't go around shoving people like that.
Whoops. Did I strike a nerve, Capini?
She let out a small laugh and she twirled her hair on her finger. Lisette, one of the last people I wanted to see today.
It's not me you should be apologizing to.
Oh, Anderson. Hey, how's it going?
I'm alright.
Haven't you already heard, Lisette?
Of what?
Her grandfather's passing.
Well, I'm sorry about that. I don't really watch a lot of news.
It doesn't really sound like you mean it.
I do mean it. Earnestly. Why wouldn't I?
Typical Capini. Isn't her family involved with the mafia or something? I wouldn't be surprised if she brought out a bat from behind her back right this moment.
She looks big in the shoulders. I had nearly forgotten the crowd that followed Lisette, which mostly comprised of people that no one wanted to see in a typical school day. No one had the slightest idea why exactly they followed Lisette around persistently, but they labeled themselves as the social equals with her.
That is out of line. Suzu comes from an honest family.
Says the one whose family profits from political scandals.
Yeah, your dad doesn't make anything unless he's in the court with dirty politicians.
Hey, let's all calm down for a second, alright? I'm sure Anderson needs some time to recuperate. I mean, what just happened? We need to give her some respect. ...
Just stop. Stop acting like that already. Like you feel sorry for me.
What are you talking about?
Look at their faces on the side. I'm just like done with everybody's bullshit. I'm like, screw it! I'm sure you're happy seeing me like this. You already have everything you've ever wanted. Now seeing me like this, life couldn't get any better. Bitterness seeped into me, and the words started flying out of my mouth without a filter. But honestly, I didn't care. I was so consumed by the anger I only saw Lisette in front of me. What exactly am I to you? Just another part of your obstacle course? Is that what I am? I am sick of it, Lisette. I'm sick of all these charades. I'm sick of you. Gasps rose from the crowd around her, and I was brought back to the school hallway. Even as my friends beside me looked at me in surprise. One of the girls looked like she was going to speak up, but Lisette held her arm up to stop her. There was an emotion in her face that I couldn't quite make out, but I could see the form of pity in her eyes. Don't you dare pity me. I looked away from her. I didn't want to see that emotion in her eyes when she was talking to me. She didn't even have the right to look at me that way.
I'm sorry. I know your grandfather passing away must have really taken a toll on your emotions.
She stepped toward me and put her hand on my shoulder, giving me a tiny smile, as if for old time's sake. But for some reason I didn't feel comfort at all. Not that I was just angry at her, but the expression on her face when she leaned close to me contorted into something complex. Something was different about her. I couldn't quite place my finger on it, but something about her had definitely changed.
Well, I'll be going for now. Track meet responsibilities and all of that stuff. See you later.
School just started. How do you even track? Something about Lisette made me feel uncomfortable. I wasn't just angry, but also unease. What was it? I had never seen her like that before. But I decided to pay no further attention to it. She continued running down the hallway with her gaggle of friends behind her. I refocused my attention to Miss Phillips, who was walking down the hallway toward me.
Is everything all right, girls?
No, I'm gonna punch a bitch in the face!
Nothing we couldn't handle, Mrs. P. Just a bunch of snobs.
Suzu, hush! It was nothing, Mrs. Phillips.
I see. Well, Miss Anderson, please accept my condolences for your loss.
Stop saying things like that! Thank you, Miss Phillips.
Your grandfather was a good man. He really upheld the philanthropy of his company's policies, and the money that went towards charity, too.
You know, he was amazing. I really looked up to him, and I want to be as good as he was.
Well, I know that you'll be as great as your grandfather.
Hell yeah, she will. She'll be 10 times better than her grandfather.
Thank you. Would I really be better than my grandfather? Everyone seemed to have such high expectations for me. I wanted to do my best and make my family proud, but to be better than my grandfather? I wasn't so sure about that. From outside the school, the window I saw a familiar blue car pulled to the curb. Undoubtedly, it was my father in the driver's seat. Oh, my ride's here. guess I'll see you both tomorrow.
Want us to come with you?
Oh no, it's okay. I'll be fine. See ya. Hey, Dad.
Hey, honey.
I guess I got in the car. I noticed my father looked troubled, clutching his steering wheel as I staring straight ahead, as if something was really bothering him.
About what happened yesterday. I'm sorry for yelling at you. Does your cheek still hurt?
Yes, it still hurts. I need surgery. No, it's nothing to worry about.
I mean it. I shouldn't have laid a finger on you. You know that you're my most precious daughter. You're all that I have.
I thought you had siblings. I'm like, aren't I all you have? It's like, you're all I have. Oh, okay. Yeah, he couldn't bring himself to say what he could never say to me such a long time. I always wanted to hear those words to affirm how he really felt, but I guess even now, he couldn't say it to me. He turned his head away and looked out the window. There was no point in waiting for something that was never going to come. And I looked, and like that, he started to drive, and the conversation between us ended. I decided to focus my attention on the passing scenery. We were taking the usual route to my grandfather's house. It was located within the vicinity of the school district, but it was still pretty far from the school and from where our house was. He had always lived alone. He insisted doing things by himself, even in his age living in such a large house. I wondered, did he pass away with no one at his side as well? It sounded so lonely and sad. It was strange that he decided on living alone in his large estate. If anything, he could have lived with us. Though he and his father probably would have given each other silent treatment the entire time, maybe living alone was preferable to that. He actually hadn't visited him for quite a while. Visiting his house was most frequent when I was a child, and had grown up long since then. Last time I visited, though, the thought he looked just his usual way, happy and healthy. But things changed. In the back of my mind, I knew that he would have to leave one day. It wasn't like humans could live forever. So why did my heart still feel so heavy? 'Cause you're grieving. You don't just expect your grandfather just to die out of the blue. The car was mostly spent in silence until he spoke up again.
How was school? Maintaining your grades, I hope.
Yeah, I've been trying my best as of so far.
Trying? That's not really doing the best you can, is it?
I'm trying, okay? With my father, only some words I could say filtered through his ears. It was difficult to keep a conversation without eventually talking about academics or my future, even if it was something loosely based on it. He always found some way to integrate it whenever we talked.
Anyway, your belongings are in the trunk. There isn't a lot, so I'm sure you can manage bringing them inside the house. After all, you are on the road to being independent now.
Yes, I can manage it on my own. The usual silence resumed between us. I wasn't really sure what to say around him, especially when most of the time we didn't share the same opinions. The question did linger on my mind, though. If he had just justified his actions so nonchalant at grandfather's funeral, I had the right at least to know why. I want to know. So, Dad, about you and Grandpa.
We are not talking about this.
I feel like we should be, because Grandpa did leave us yesterday, so...
I wouldn't care if he had left even long before that. I do not want to hear it, and that is the end of this conversation.
As always, he managed to shut down any form of conversation related to him. It was just like what happened last night. I opened my mouth slightly, but I closed it again. It was like talking to a brick wall. It wasn't like I could just find out anything, but somehow I argued my way through it. All right, then. I leaned against the car door to stare out the window. I really couldn't think. What would this place be like? I had been to my grandfather's house before, but it was only visiting, and it was another thing just actually living there. How would I manage living on my own without any training to really care for a house? I knew that naturally the bills would be paid by my parents, who inherited my grandfather's stocks to the corporation, but I had never lived independently before. Thinking about it made me feel like some kind of bird being pushed out of the nest. Though I would technically be an adult, I feel unprepared and a bit daunted at the prospect of actually moving into a new place. Mostly people my age would be ecstatic to move out. After all, it would be symbolized of some kind of change in their lives, like being on the road to independence. But I felt like nothing of the sort. I really hoped I wouldn't let my parents down. I wouldn't want to let my grandfather down. What would he be saying right now? I gazed up at the passing clouds in the sky. If you're out there, grandfather, how would you be doing? Would there be anything you'd like to tell me at this moment? And of course, no answer. What was I doing? Searching for an answer in heaven? That would or would not exist. I ducked my head and stared at the blur of trees in the car window. My head definitely was going in the clouds if clouds there in that moment. Either way, I found myself being driven off to my new home. The car rolled up and I drifted out of my thoughts.
Here we are. Go on in.
All right, tell Mom I love her.
All right.
I love you too, Dad. No, make sure to come and visit often. No, I'm going to miss you lots. Nothing other than a blank stare. I paused a bit before reaching out to the car door handle, waiting for any form of goodbye, but he didn't speak again. I sighed and exited the car. Hearing my dad pop open the trunk, I saw the 2 large bags I packed last night. They were large enough to carry only the things I needed. I took them out, placed one bag on each shoulder, and closed the trunk. Then he drove off. He then drove off, leaving me alone in the front of the mansion. I watched the blue car fade in the distance in the road before turning to see the new home. There it is. It's huge. My grandfather gave me this. It's hard to believe. It was framed by a set of tall gates. I hesitated to push them aside and take in the entire estate. The house still looked like it was when I last visited him. At the glance, it seemed kind of intimidating with its size. Though if I came closer, it was clear that there was more than that. The brick walls were framed by shrubbery and lovely flowers, giving the home a welcoming look, but the contrast in tall doors into the house gave me the feeling of grandeur. Who knew that this was waiting for me? I wouldn't back down at this moment. I took out the key, the front doors, and unlocked them. Might as well make myself at home. I'll be staying here for quite a while anyways. That's when I saw them. Laying on the floor was a group of men. Why? Laying on the floor was a group of men. They all were unconscious, but they were no explanation as to why they were there in the first place. I dropped my bags and let the door close on its own behind me. Who the heck are these guys? Why are they here? What's going on? Some of them had open wounds with blood, and staining the floor of the scent was intermingling with the air. I couldn't help but feel bad for them instinctively, but nevertheless I was shocked and a bit angry at the sudden intrusion. My mind suddenly went back to caring and concerning confused and demanding answers. Who are you guys? No response. I'll call the police. Still nothing. None of them seemed to be awake or answering to responding to me. It seemed so surreal to have random strangers in my house that I just moved into, but I wanted answers so quickly. That was until... Eep! Eep! Get away from me!
Woman, you're going to let me kiss you.
And with that, I think we will stop the video. I know it's kind of a cliffhanger, but it makes you want to come back for the next episode, doesn't it? Thank you all for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Yeah, that's all I got. Stay tuned for part 2.